Welcome back to DCTV, where I am your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news here in the beautiful greater Cincinnati area. If you are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the DCTV family. We're on hashtag Road to 2K. Make sure you hit that like button on all the videos and streams. And make sure you follow me on all my social medias. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today we'll unfortunately be unraveling the Cincinnati Bengals Pittsburgh Steelers massacre that we had to witness yesterday afternoon. So I'll kind of be going over everything, my thoughts, my initial reaction, and what this means for the Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers moving on. Two teams that are in two totally different places right now in the NFL. What does this mean? So we'll hop right into that in just a second. I'll give this a few minutes for you to start. If you're watching this live, thank you for joining. If you're watching this post-production, it's okay. There might be times in the videos where you might want to skip over because I'm waiting for the live stream to step up. But nonetheless, hit that like button. Join the DCTV family. Hit the subscribe button. And this, if you're wondering, this is by far the best Cincinnati sports network you will find. So I appreciate all the support lately, guys. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Let's get going here on Facebook. I'm going to post on all my social media real quick. Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Okay. Watch party. Start a watch party. Live. Bengals. All right. What are we saying in the chat? What's up, Tanner? WHODEY AWOL? WHODEY Drake? What's up, Quality? That's what I'm going to call you. I don't know how to pronounce that. WHODEY Nathan? Badang? Yep. Drake Berry said, I am so disappointed with how we played yesterday. I don't think we'd win. I didn't think we'd win, but I think we at least put up a fight. They lost to the Steelers. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going to get into right now. So let me go ahead and get into it after this. Add videos live. What the fuck? So if you are live or if you're watching this post-production, make sure you put your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to know your guys' thoughts, Bengals or Steelers fans. Just be respectful in the comments, whatever you say. But be honest, I want to know what your guys' thoughts heading into the second half of the season. So I guess I'll go ahead and start it off now. My personal thoughts, I'll go ahead and start with the Steelers for you Steelers fans that are tuning in here for the first time on DCTV, or if you were in the live stream yesterday. For the Steelers, this doesn't really mean much. You guys continue an undefeated streak. You beat a 2-win team. It's a divisional win. It's a rivalry win. So props to you guys. It's the way you guys won. It's the way you guys want to blow out. If I was a Steelers fan, that's how I'd look at it. For you guys, I think your biggest things is you probably already clinched the division by now. You're going to, so you're probably going to get a bye week. Keep Big Ben healthy. He played phenomenal for not having a single practice all week besides a walkthrough. I believe Friday or Saturday. So besides that, he played great. But he's going up against a diminished corner or secondary for the Bengals. We were down 2 or 3 starting corners, so I personally saw that coming. I didn't think he would have 330 yards and 4 touchdowns or whatever it was, but I did think he was going to have at least 250 and 2. So props to Big Ben at 38 years old, picking and choosing. So what he did. Running back, I think it's a big question mark for James Conner for you guys moving on. We have one of the worst, or the Bengals have one of the worst stopping the run in the entire league, and by far that was our best performance stopping the run. James Conner did not look good. He didn't look fast, and there was majority of his runs were tackles for the loss in the backfield. So I think that's one thing I would be a question mark for me if I were a Steelers fan. Receivers, you guys got weapons. So you got that, good offensive line. Going on to your defense against turnovers. So that's a big positive for you guys. I think one thing you guys will have to work on, not necessarily from this game, but in general, is the red zone defense. Bend don't break. Because when I look at the Steelers, I'm thinking of teams they could compete with for that number one spot. Instantly I think Kansas City Chiefs. They're still my number one team in the league, despite your guys' record. I have you guys, just below them or rank third, right behind the Chiefs. I just don't see anybody beating them. No, they got a lucky loss or a bad loss against the Raiders, but besides that, I still don't think you guys beat Patrick Mahomes. So I would work on teams like that, facing teams that have the studs, have the offense alignment, and a decent defense. That's what I would look forward to as a Steelers fan. All around, like I said, Big Ben played great. Your playmakers did well. James Conner really struggled, though, so still a question mark. And for your Steelers fans, get active in the comment sections if it's post-production or if it's live. Let me know what you guys think about the backup running back. Who was it? Let me pull up the stats real quick. Sorry, guys. Let me pull up the stats real quick. That's not what I want, dude. So, schedule against the Bengals. And you also got to think that is home, Heinz Field. I don't think we've beat you guys at Heinz Field since 2015, I believe. So it's been almost half a decade since we beat you at home. So I think you guys got that definitely a home field advantage, and that's going to be interesting to watch. Your Thanksgiving game against the Ravens. You guys have that one home, so you're lucky. You beat them at third place, which was huge for you guys. I can't find the game stats, but why aren't you guys utilizing, maybe it was just this game, Benny Snell Jr. at the University of Kentucky. I definitely thought you guys would have a better formation where you'd utilize him and James Conner both. Use him as kind of a scat, and James Conner's more of a running back. Blake Snell had, I think, 3 or 4 rushes, but we really didn't see it until garbage time late into the fourth quarter. So I think you guys need to start utilizing him a little bit more. But T.J. Watt on the defense did very well. A lot of guys that you expected did well. Chris Boswell, special teams did well. So for the Steelers, good job. But I'm going to hit on the Bengals now. The big thing for the Bengals that kind of upsetted me was just the fact that we didn't compete. Bengals fans, you got to be realistic. We're a 2-win team going against most people rank the number 1 team, the best record in the league, and the Steelers, undefeated team. Got to have some realization. The odds were definitely stacked against us to win. In my head, I thought we would at least compete. We just showed the world that we can beat a Tennessee Titans team that once upon a time ago was like 5-2. We beat them, and we showed the world like we can compete with these big dogs. As long as we have Joe Burrow, I think we can win games. And we got blown out. I get it. It's at Heinz Field. I get it. We're down 2-3 starting corners. We're down Geno Atkins. We're down Joe Mixon. But you can only have so many excuses. You have to compete, especially in this rivalry game. And the biggest thing I'm starting to take out of Zach Taylor, I don't think he knows what this rivalry means yet for the Bengals and Steelers. If you liked Marvin Lewis or not, I did think it was his time to go as a Bengals head coach. But Marvin Lewis knew what this rivalry meant for both cities, for both teams, for both franchises. And it would always be a close game, a competitive game, fights, stuff like that. Not saying I want fights, but the competitive games, man. I don't think Zach Taylor knows what this rivalry is. And Tomlin, the veteran, one of the best head coaches of all time, had his number every single time he's gone against the Bengals. I know we were the worst team ranked last year. We only got 2 wins. I get that. But still, you got to compete at some time. You got to recognize what this rivalry means for the city. I don't think Zach Taylor knows that quite yet, which is pretty unfortunate. Moving into the Bengals, my next thing, I'm going to continue to hit on Zach Taylor a little bit, just because I believe most of this game went on coaching. there were so many times where I don't blame the players. I find myself blaming, above the players, coaching staff, and that falls on Zach Taylor. And it's very unfortunate because these past few weeks for the Bengals, I was very proud of Zach Taylor. Just beat this Titans team. Guys are buying into the locker room. They're saying all this good stuff about him. I was like, okay, I'm getting my confidence built up, and then boom, we play a game like this where with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, in the third quarter, we just give up. There was no heart. There was no fight. And that starts with coaching. So I think that's what made me pretty upset with Zach. The play calling was completely garbage for the offense. No vertical plays whatsoever. Everything was horizontal screens, like little slant passes, little dump passes. And you get to the point where that works, Zach. But when you're down 24-plus points in the second half, you got to get down the field and make plays. And the only thing I don't understand, I would defend him if we didn't have guys to go make plays down the field, but we've seen T. Higgins do it multiple times, Tyler Boyd. We know A.J. Green can do it, even though he had zeros all across the board for another game, which I'll get into A.J. Green in a little bit. But, I think sooner or later, when are you going to go vertical down the field? When are you going to take your shots? And it's just like we're down 20, we're down 24, we're down 27, we're down 30, and we're still not taking shots. I didn't understand it. He was super conservative. And my big thing with Zach was, I get you want to be conservative in the fourth quarter against a great defense, one of the best front sevens in the entire NFL. They get to the quarterback. But why do you have Joe Burrow in the game? Joe Burrow's limping off the field. He's taking these big hits, but you're not taking shots. You're making him take hits for little screen dump passes. Why? If that's your game plan, take him out the game. There's no point to get him in there and get him hurt. So I'll move on from that. Going on to the Bengals offense, quarterback Joe Burrow, I think he played well. I don't think this game falls on him. I know he always takes credit for a loss, which is what he should do, and he's just a leader and a captain. So he's going to do it at the end of the day, and he's going to take responsibility. Although I don't think this was his game, I don't think this was his fault. I think the game plan definitely failed around him. There was a few throws that were a little bit off from him that he has to make. I know it was windy. I know it's Heinz Field. I know it's a 420 game, but no excuses at the end of the day. I could sit here and make excuse for myself, but I'm just not. And I think for a bunch of Bengals fans, after Joe Mixon's been out the past few weeks with this foot injury, a lot of Bengals fans are like, oh, well, it's okay. We got Bernard. He gets receptions, touchdowns. He gets receiving touchdowns. He gets rushing touchdowns. That's okay. We'll be good. We'll survive with Bernard. And I think you guys are finally catching on that no, it's not. We paid Joe Mixon to be a top 8 running back, top 5 running back in the league, and that's exactly what we need him to be. And I think you guys are starting to realize we're so one-dimensional without him on the field. I love Giovanni Bernard. He is a captain. He is a leader. He's an all-time Bengal, and he's a veteran, and he is the presence of that locker room. He creates that team chemistry. So I really like him, don't get me wrong, but he's not the rushing downfield running back that Mixon is. Mixon's way more elusive. He has way more power, and he hits the hole with such... You guys know, you watch Mixon. He is a top 5 running back in the NFL when healthy, and I think we're starting to notice how one-dimensional we are without him. And so I think the biggest things for the Bengals is, when is he going to be healthy, and why aren't we getting answers? And, week after week, he should be good. I'll give you guys an update soon. He should be good. He's going to be practicing. Why is he not playing? You paid him all that money for him to not play. So I'm going to move on from that. Receivers. I'll start with the positive and we'll end with the negative for the receivers. T. Higgins is the man. He is a 21-year-old phenom. He is going to be the future, probably best receiver in Bengals history. I think he'll be better than A.J. Green. So I might get some heat for that, but that's just my opinion. He's only 21. I'll say that. Moving on from that, Tyler Boyd. I think he's great. He's going to get another back-to-back 1K yard season. That's going to be 3 in a row. He had 4 receptions for like 45 yards or give or take something like that. He played well. We need to see more of him. We just didn't take shots down the field, and that's where he really thrives. We didn't get him over the middle of the field, and we didn't get the ball to him, so I don't really blame it on him too much. And going back to the T. Higgins comment, I think him and Chase Claypool are definitely the future for the receiver position in this division. The matchups between Claypool and the matchups to come with Claypool and Higgins is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Auden Tate, we saw a little bit of Auden Tate. He definitely had some drops in there. But I know we got the ball to him 2 or 3 times, and he made some decent catches. And I'm going to end with A.J. Green. I'm going to continually be a disappointed fan of A.J. Green. I grew up watching him. He's one of my favorites. But I still don't think he'll be a Bengal next year as of right now. The one thing that aggravates me about A.J. Green is the way he carries himself, his body language. And if you're a Bengals fan or not, if you don't look at the name of the jersey and you just look at the stats, his stats are piss poor. And it's his body language. I get it. He's going against cornerback number 1. I get it. He's going to get double teamed. I get that. But at some point in time, you got to make a play. In the biggest games, you can't have zeros across the board and, have more piss poor language, attitude on the field than you do catches on the team. And that's what makes me so angry. And what makes me more angry are the Bengals fans that get mad at me for being realistic with A.J. Green. Oh, we got to re-sign him. Oh, we got to do this. Stop talking bad about A.J. for everything he's done. What has he done? Have he won a playoff game? Have he won a Super Bowl? No. I get it. One time, years ago, he was a top 5 receiver in the league, top 3 receiver in the league. But stop living in the past, a lot of you Bengals fans. Do you want do you want to win in the future? Or do you just want players that have good names on the back of their jersey? What do you want? I'm sorry. I'm 19 years old. I grew up as a kid watching him. He's one of my favorite of all time. But I'm tired of losing. I want to win. And if that's with or without A.J. Green, that's okay with me. I want the best for him. If he can, get rid of that, poor body language and start to, and I feel like each and every week, after each week, we say, it's coming. A.J. Green's coming. It's taking time. He got, 2 years of injuries. It's coming. He just has to get back into himself. You know what I mean? And it's like each week we say that. And now we're 11 weeks into the NFL season. When is it where A.J. Green's going to come back? He's already, 32 years old, give or take, around there? He's on a contract year. He's already getting paid for one of the top 5 receivers in the league because we had to franchise tag him. And now we got to give him a contract extension? I kept hearing in the beginning of the season, oh, he's a security blanket. Tell me how a security blanket gives zeros across the board. A security blanket is Tyler Boyd. One of the, top 10 in receptions across the league or whatever. He's at 50 plus already. That is a security blanket. A.J. Green has not been a security blanket. There has been times where we've had flashes, good catches, getting drag guys all over him. We've seen blips, but that's not worth $10 million plus a year. I love A.J. Green. He's one of my favorites of all time. But you guys got to start being realistic with yourself. How much time are we going to give him? It's going to be next week. He has to knock the rust off. When's it going to be? Moving on. Defense. #FireLou. I definitely thought that even if we don't get a win, but if we hold them around 20-ish points, this will definitely start changing my conception about the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, Lou. But no. I think this is definitely, even with 36 points given up, defying the odds that the defense was put into, I'm going to let this one slide a little bit. But there are some things I want to touch on. Even with this 36-point loss, this is the best our rush defense has looked all year long. All year long. It's crazy to say when we lose by 36. Our rushing defense looked phenomenal. James Conner looked terrible. He looked slow. And we were blowing up that offensive line every time they were handing that ball off. We were pushing guys in the backfield. That is something I haven't seen all season long. Sam Hubbard, Carl Lawson, Logan Wilson, Akeem Davis-Gathers, Von Bell. All these guys were in the backfield getting tackles every time they hand that ball off. So a great job for the rush defense. And that's without Geno Atkins. And I'm done talking about Geno Atkins too. It's 11 weeks into the season, and he's still not playing. What is wrong with Geno Atkins? We still don't have a word on what's wrong with him. Oh, it's a shoulder injury. He's working it back on. It's week 11. How much longer does he need to get full participation? If any, he was out the entire game. In the games he does play, he's getting, 15% snaps? So, that just frustrates me. It's the talent that we know we have that's, out of their, they're not in their, they're not in their best before. Like, they're not in their best anymore. He's out of his prime. And that's A.J. Green and Geno Atkins, and we're just not utilizing him. So why have him on the team? Frustrating. Moving on. There wasn't a surprise that we got burnt. We're down a whole bunch of corners. I wasn't surprised that Big Ben had the game he had. I was surprised that he had 4 touchdowns and 350 yards. A 250-yard, 2 touchdown, 1 pick game. Okay, I get it. But the performance he had really shocked me. We had guys that we just activated from the practice squad a day or two ago that had to step up and play because of injuries. So I'm not going to sit here and wear down our secondary because we have guys hurt. There's nothing you can do. Von Bell played great, and Jesse Bates played great. Still one of the best safety duos in the NFL, if not the best. Von Bell should have had at least 1 or 2 picks. He still had Jesse Bates, excuse me. He still made a bunch of plays, a bunch of deflections, a bunch of big tackles. That one on Eric Ebron, he lit him up. But, it's still a great game by Jesse Bates. There was that 1 pick, should have been a pick 6. Even the announcers were saying it. They're like, oh my gosh, if he just hauls that one in, he's gone to the end zone. So he had a good game, but he definitely could have had better. And there's no excuses. You need your best players to step up and make big-time plays in the biggest games. So, even if he makes that play, we probably don't win, but it makes the game at least competitive, which is what all Bengals fans even wanted. So my last thing on the Bengals I will say about the defense was I will give the defense some slack because the offense set them up for failure. The turnovers and the holding the ball. Each possession was like 2 minutes or less because we never ran the ball. So we're going throw on first, throw on second, throw on third, all incompletes. Or 2 incompletes, so the clock stops. Or run on first, throw second and third, 3 and out. It's like every single drive, the play calling was so bad by Zach Taylor, our defense would get maybe 2 minutes of time to, get a sip of water and they couldn't even sit on the bench and take a breather before they had to go back on the field because that's how bad the play calling was on offense. Our defense couldn't catch a break. So it's setting them up for failure. Also, terrible field possession. The first 4 drives for the Steelers in the game, they were at midfield or already in Bengals territory because our offense wasn't getting anywhere. If anything, they were losing yards. So when we're punting the ball against 25 miles per hour winds, to even add on top of that, Pittsburgh's getting the ball at the 50-yard line, and they only need 2 first downs to even get a field goal. That's why they only had 12 points. They had 6 points, and 2 field goals in the first quarter. They could have had 14 points. They could have dropped 50 on us. They should have scored. There is no excuse you come out the game for the Steelers, already in Bengals territory, and you only settle for 2 field goals. I was really surprised, and that is phenomenal defense to come out there and stop Big Ben. Because Big Ben, not many times, if you give him field possession, he's not going to score. So, I give props to the Bengals defense in the first half, holding this team to holding to the team. One time it was 12 points. And that was against the offense, just penalizing the defense even more. So, I'll move on from the Bengals and go back to the Steelers. What are you guys saying in the comments? Are you forgetting about Chad Johnson? No, Chad Johnson's definitely one of my favorites of all time. Chad Johnson's definitely my favorite of all time. How could I forget about Chad Johnson if he's wearing 85? Maybe not the best receiver in the league, but he definitely has the rights to be a top 3, top 5 in Bengals history. But see, that's what's wrong with Bengals fans. A lot of Bengals fans get so mad about the past. You gotta stop living in the past sometimes. You gotta, sometimes you gotta want the future. No disrespect. Y'all seen the D-Hop catches on the Bills? Yeah, I have him for fantasy, so I definitely saw that. Drake said, I want a team that win. Don't care about the names. I'm doing good, Kevin. What about yourself? Defense looked sturdy at first, and our secondary got shredded. That's what I'm saying. Like, our rush defense was the best it's been all season, and the secondary got shredded, and that was to no surprise for me. When you're down 2-3 starting corners, it's going to happen. And you're going up against Big Ben, 38 years old. The thing with me that really surprised me was, he had that slow start, which wasn't a surprise, but the fact he started warming up, what he didn't practice all week besides one walkthrough, that's really impressive to throw for 4 touchdowns, no picks. Should have been picked off at least once or twice, but what the stats say right now, he didn't. So to walk up 4 touchdowns, no turnovers, and 350 yards off a week coming off an injury and no practice besides 1 day of walkthroughs, you got to give it up to Big Ben. What can the Steelers do if Big Ben gets injured and can't play? Well, they're not going to go to the Super Bowl because Mason Rudolph is not the answer, and Josh Dobbs is not the answer either. What's up, Ooga Booga? Didn't expect to stream today. Yeah, this won't be too long. I just wanted to go over my thoughts on the topic. I want to see what some Steelers fans thought. They definitely had a lot to say yesterday. I want to see what they had to say today. I kind of went over the Steelers already. Justin said the Bengals look like, yeah, I agree, Justin. What's up, Joe? What's up, Marcus? What's up, Lawrence? All on Facebook. Thank you for joining the DCTV stream today. Appreciate you guys. If you guys are in here, hit a like on the stream if you're a Bengals or Steelers fan. I'd really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button and join the DCTV family and follow on Facebook as well. So, I mean, overall view of the game. Disappointed because I wanted to compete. Didn't think, the odds were against the Bengals to even win. But if you're the Steelers, I'm assuming, you guys obviously feel like you're the best in the league considering you have the best record. But going forward, do you guys really think you can beat the Chiefs? I don't know. I really don't know. The Chiefs have so many weapons. I get your defense is good, but Andy Reid is a man among boys. And he really can cook up those plays. If Connor would have got a touchdown, I would have won my fantasy week. Oh, well, there's always next week. Yeah, Connor did not play well. And that's one thing I said. If there's if the positives to look forward to is that Bengals, that defensive rush looked fantastic. The best it's looked all season. Jackson says no. So, David said, I'm still mad, but I expected it. I didn't expect a blowout. I expected a close game. So, it's frustrating for sure. And I think for the Bengals, the positives looking forward, let me hit on this. I missed this. I said our rushing was good. Our rush defense was good. But our pass rush, once again, I feel like we keep making excuses for ourselves. Like, oh, we're getting pressure. Oh, we might not be getting sacks. We may not be getting a lot of TFLs, but we're getting pressure. Well, I think when you play against these 8-0 teams, these top-tier teams in the league, pressure doesn't matter unless you're bringing them down with a sack a lot of these times. And, again, there was definitely some times where we were laying Big Ben on the ground. I know, Sam Hubbard got his hands on him. Carl Lawson got his hands on him. But still, I don't think we had a single sack all game. So, at some point, when is our pass rush going to come alive? I get Sam Hubbard just came off an elbow injury of the past month and a half. I get that. Carl Lawson, I get he's getting his hands on the quarterbacks, but we really needed him to get some sacks, and this is a good Steelers offensive line, so I'm not going to, harp on him too much. But in the interior, no Geno, so. No, Steelers will not win against the Chiefs. They will put up a fight, but Kansas City will win in the end. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. At this point, Steelers are going to make the playoffs. It's pretty obvious. They're 9-0. They're going to get the first-round bye. It's just kind of obvious. Unless you guys go on a losing streak or Big Ben gets hurt or somebody like that, you guys are going to get the bye, and you're going to meet with the Chiefs. And I just don't know if you guys could beat the Chiefs. But looking forward on the Steelers' schedule, there's a lot of winnable games. The cupcake schedule continues for the Steelers. Just a lot of winnable games. You only have, I think 3 tough games, and that's 2 in the division. You got Ravens and Browns, and then you got the Bills one more time. And if you want to throw the Bengals in there for another divisional matchup, you got that as well. Outside of that, you play basically the NFC least, which I know we're playing very similar teams, or we're playing the same teams, but, I keep seeing all this on social media, cakewalk that. You guys are getting wins, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who it's against, but the easy schedule continues for you guys, and especially next week. You play the one win Jaguars, who we beat. So Bengals 7-8-1 possibly. Well, now it becomes a stretch. I still think we can get 5 wins, and I will explain that in a second. What if Big Ben and Mason can't play? Then it would go to Josh Dobbs. But I would play Josh Dobbs over Mason Rudolph. And it sounds like a bunch of Steelers fans think that as well, even though they played Mason Rudolph yesterday at the end of the fourth quarter. But if you look at the Steelers' schedule, you got the one-win Jaguars next week. You got the Ravens on Thanksgiving Day, so that's going to be a tough one. Then you got the Washington football team, the Bills, so the Bills are a tough one. And then you got the Bengals, Colts, and Browns. So, I mean, say what it is, but you got a one-win Jaguars. You're probably just going to look past them until the Ravens game. Then you got the Washington football team, who's not good either. The Bills, I think the Bills have a really good chance against you guys. I will say this. I like Diggs. I like their weapons. The one thing about the Bills is that they turn the ball over a lot. And you guys are a defense that turn the ball over a lot. So, as much as I think the Bills are capable of winning that game, Josh Allen's going to have to take care of the ball. Because your defense turns over the ball, and Josh Allen throws a lot of picks. So, can you talk about the turnovers? One turnover was a muffed punt by Alex Erickson. I still don't know why there's not competition for returning the ball, return man. I've questioned that for years. Alex Erickson, he's made some mistakes in the past. Everyone makes mistakes, but how is there no competition in the receiving, kick returns and punt returns? I have no idea. So that was the fumble, and then the T. Higgins fumble. After the reception, you guys came in and punched it out. So you guys did a good job. And that's just Steelers defense. They're always turning the ball over. I feel like every year that's just something Mike Tomlin prides his game on, is a defense that can turn the ball over. What is the state of Zach's job if he finishes 7-9? He's fine. He's going to be its coach. And for the Bengals fans, I think he's going to get fired right away. Do you not see how long it took us to fire Marvin Lewis? I get it. Marvin Lewis would always piece together at least a 6 to 8 win season. I get it. It's true. He would always bring in at least a mediocre season. That was just Marvin Lewis. Rarely were we a 10 to 12 win team, but we were always an 8-win team. So I think if Zach Taylor gets 5 wins, I don't even think they consider firing him. Now, no matter how many wins, I hope we look at defensive coordinators. I really hope we look at defensive coordinators. And even like the Kansas City, the Eric Ademany, or excuse me if I'm butchering his name, or all the offensive minded coaches, if they're out there looking for a job, maybe promote, or depromote, or Zach Taylor, depromote him, and you bring in someone over him, so one person can focus on play calling, one can focus on game planning and management. Don't think that'll ever happen with the Bengals, as they're just not an aggressive franchise, but Marvin was decent. Marvin was good enough to get us to 5 straight playoffs, seasons. We just didn't win a single one, which is just it's a problem. So Marson was decent. Yeah, he was a guy who could get piece together a 6 to 10 win season year in and year out. Was able to get mediocre players and surround them with a couple weapons and a defense that's, really gritty, mean, and gets a lot of turnovers. So that's what Marvin Lewis did, and it got us to 5 straight playoff seasons. Just didn't win a single game. Just didn't win a single playoff game. The Bengals curse. Marvin is the ASU coach. Yeah, I saw that. It's cool. I thought he was done with coaching in general, but I guess if you're an NFL coach, no matter how you exit, you're always going to find your way somewhere else on a college roster. And I guess I'll end it with this, looking at the Bengals schedule. For the Bengals, we got the Washington football team this next week. I really think we can beat them. They got Alex Smith with basically a robot leg, or 2 other quarterbacks that I guess aren't capable. I really like their coach. He's one of the best to do it. So I think that's the one thing that concerns me. Their front 7 is really good. They're going to get after him. You're going to have Burrow versus, who was the pick? I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Oh, come on. How can I not think of his name? Chase Young. Sorry, Washington fans. You got Bengals. You got Burrow versus Chase Young, former Ohio State teammates. First pick, second pick in the draft. It's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm sure Chase Young will get one at him or one to him, so I wouldn't be surprised for that. One thing I missed on the Bengals offensive line that I meant to say was that Hakeem Adeniji, the 6th or 7th round pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, the left tackle out of the University of Kansas, started yesterday at right tackle in placement of Bobby Hart, and I don't know if Bobby Hart's going to get his spot back. To switch over to left tackle to right tackle and a 6th or 7th round rookie pick to go in there and start against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a top 3 front 7 in the entire NFL, and to play as well as he did, I don't know if Bobby Hart's going to get his spot back. Hakeem Adeniji is the real deal, so I will say that. But looking at the schedule, we got the Washington football team and then the New York Giants. We should win both of those games. That's 2 wins. So that gives us 4. And even if we get those 4 wins, then we have the Dolphins, who I'm not going to sleep on. They have a fantastic defense. We saw what happens with the Bengals place a good defense team and the Steelers. So you have the Dolphins. But I think because it's Tua versus Burrow, that's going to elevate Burrow's game. A lot of people are going to be watching it outside of Miami and Cincinnati just because it's Burrow versus Tua. It would have been the same thing if Burrow would have played Justin Herbert, but he wasn't playing at the time. So I think that's a good chance to get 5, maybe. But even if we lose, let's just say 4. The following week, we play the Cowboys. It's probably going to be Bengals versus Andy Dalton. It's probably going to be Andy Dalton, the Cowboys versus the Bengals, so that's a W. That's 5. And then we play the Steelers. We'll say we lose because we're just going to be projected to lose. And the Texans, 12-27, 2 days after Christmas. I think that's an easy W. The Texans, if you just contain Deshaun Watson, that's really all they have. They're down a lot of running backs. I know they're down a few guys on the defensive end. Got to watch out for J.J. Watt, the brother of T.J. Watt. They got the Burrow twice. I think that's a very winnable game. And the Ravens, we'll say we'll lose that game too just because we're going to be projected to lose that one. So that's 6 wins at least. And that's losing to the Dolphins, losing to the Steelers, and losing to the Ravens. So that'd be 4-3 to end the rest of the season. So, what's up, Evan? All right, stop spamming that or you're going to be muted, buddy. We get it. So what are your guys' thoughts? What Steelers fans that are in here, what do you think your final record will be? Put that in the comment section. And Bengals fans, what do you think your record will be to end the season as well? Thank you, Gabuga. Hakeem Adeniji is the GOAT for where he got picked. Yeah, I mean, if Hakeem Adeniji really does pan out and take that position of Bobby Hart, I mean, what a steal of a draft that would be for the Bengals. A 6th, 7th round pick. To come in there and step up against this great Steelers front 7 was really impressive. Jackson says, do you think the Bengals should spend more money on the facility so they can attract more free agents? Yes. They don't have an inside facility, which I know Pat McAfee and a bunch of other shows talk about that. Tom Brady is the GOAT, and so is Big Ben. Tom Brady is definitely the GOAT over Big Ben. Sorry, Steelers fans. Big Ben is a Hall of Famer, though. So, hey, did Big Ben hurt his foot in the 4th? I didn't see his foot get hurt, but during the game, he was shaking his wrist. I think 2nd or 3rd quarter, he was out there, and after a tackle from, I think, Sam Hubbard or Carl Lawson to the ground, he came up and he was shaking that wrist. So I didn't see anything about his foot, but he was definitely shaking that wrist/hand and elbow area, which is not good because I'm pretty sure it's the same elbow he just got surgery on. So, you think you guys have a due chance to go undefeated? I just don't think so. It's only happened in one time in history for a reason. You know what I mean? So we'll see. 7-9-1 or 6-9 or 6-10-1. Yeah, I mean, I think we're easily going to be able to get 5 wins. And that is impressive to say because with that 5 wins, that is getting swept by the entire division. We're going to lose every game to the Browns, or we have. We're going to lose every game to the Steelers, and we're going to lose every game to the Browns, and we could still get 5 wins. I don't know if that's ever been done before. Has a team ever lost every single game in the division and still won 5 to 7 wins? Let me know if that's ever happened before. I'm still waiting for someone to answer that. I've said that in like every stream because it's very possible. We got swept by the Browns. Should have never happened. And then um, we play the Steelers one more time and the Ravens one more time. And if we don't win one of those games, we won't win we'll go winless in the division. And, I'm not going to sit here and talk about it, but coaching, though, you have to piece together some division wins to be successful. And, I'll give them a little bit of slack because we do have probably the best division in the NFL. This division could have 3 playoff teams this season. You could have the Steelers, the Ravens, and possibly even the Browns. We'll have to see what the Browns can do without Odell. And Baker, really not opening up to Baker. They're kind of just Kevin Stefanski kind of doing the same thing, what he did in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. Kind of just, only throw the ball 15, 20 times and still win games. Just use the running back, which was Dalvin Cook, now Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So Kevin Stefanski, everyone's surprised, like, oh, how are they winning with only throwing the ball 13 times a game? He's doing the same thing he did in Minnesota. He's doing the same thing. So what do you think about the future of the Burrow-Higgins connection? I think it's super bright. I think it definitely has a chance of beating Carson and Chad Ochocinco. I think if not being better, I think it has chances to be just as well. I don't know. I'm not saying that he sprained it or anything. I'm just saying during the game they were showing him on camera, and he was definitely flickering that wrist. He's probably fine. It's Big Ben, so it's probably not a big deal for him, but that was a problem. It's because we played the NFC least. That's definitely a big part of it, why we could have 3 playoff teams. But play NFC least or play any other division, I think this is still 1 or 2 for the best division in football. But, that's definitely a reason why the Browns might make the playoffs. What's up, bro? What are your thoughts on the game? Just joined. I'm about to head out here in a couple minutes. If you want to go ahead and restart from the beginning of the stream, it's probably your best bet as I'm about to wrap it up. My thoughts as a Bengals fan, disappointed. As a Steelers fan, you move on to the next one and try to keep that undefeated streak alive. But I went into detail very specifically, so if you might want to restart from the beginning. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Stay tuned. I'll probably be doing a stream later in the week for prediction and preview for the Washington football team versus the Bengals. And then once again, I'll be doing a live play-by-play for the Bengals-Washington game on Sunday at 1 o'clock. So hit that subscribe button. Join the DCTV family on hashtag #RoadTo2K. Donate to the stream. Leave a like. Bengals fan, Steelers fan, Browns fan, wherever you are, leave a like. Follow me on all my social medias if you want to get in touch with me. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. This has been Drew. My name is Drew Collins. This has been DCTV. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Be safe. Have fun. And as always, WHODEY. Oh, Anthony, I see you. Do you think the Browns can beat the Ravens? No.